Hey everybody, Mr. Fulton here. This video is going to show you how to use our digital balances for measuring the mass of objects. Before we get into that, let's talk about how we used to measure the mass of objects. Laboratories would have these items. These are called triple beam balances. And what you would do is you would take the object you wanted to measure the mass and put it on the pan over here, and then you would move these masses along these beams until it was balanced over here on the other side. So triple beam balance, hence the term. But we don't use these really anymore. They still work just fine, but we've replaced them with more modern technology. So these triple beam balances have been replaced with digital balances. The ones we have in class here look like this, and I'm going to show you how to use these here in a second. They all are going to operate very similarly. If you have a scale at home, like a kitchen scale, it's going to look very similar to this. And we'll talk about why weight and mass are similar but also very different. We're going to be using these to measure specifically the mass of objects. So let's zoom in on this a little bit and I'll show you how to use it. So here's our digital balance that we're going to use for class. You can see it has a capacity of 1,000 grams. That's how much you can put on the balance. And a graduation, in other words, it's going to measure to the nearest 1/10 of a gram. In order to get going here, you're going to click on, and the screen will light up blue. And we need to check for a couple things. First of all, we need to make sure that it says 00 when it turns on. It does, but I'll tell you how to get rid of that here in a second in case it doesn't. You're also going to be noticing up in the top, you should see a unit. Right now, our unit that we're working in is grams. That's what we're always going to be measuring in science class. But if it doesn't say grams, you can click the mode button, and it will switch between units. Again, we are always going to be measuring in grams, so just make sure that that little G is on your screen before you measure, and you should be good to go. If your balance ever shows something other than 0, so for example, you turn it on, and right now it says 63.5, we're going to go ahead and click the tare button, T-A-R-E, and that zeroes out your balance. So anytime you need to get reset to 0, you're going to go ahead and click the tare button, and that'll get you back to 0. To actually measure the mass of anything, you're simply going to set it onto the pan when it says 0, and it will tell you the mass of that item. So for right now, we're looking at this little remote that has a mass of 25.2 grams. So I would record that amount on my data sheet, and I could move on, take it off, and measure my next item. One last reminder, please remember that these items are tools, not toys. Treat them respectfully, and we should all have a good time doing these labs.